Ravens Wrap is sponsored by Bud Light, jctickets.net, Geico Insurance, Dunaway Furniture, Ocean City Golf Club, RussellStreetReport.com, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Holiday Inn Express, BuyAToyota.com, your official site for Toyota deals. The original Green Turtle, hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
And welcome into the original Green Turtles Ravens Wrap Show on Comcast Beach TV, and now this season also on TV on 47 ABC WMDT, in which we're extremely proud to expand the reach of the show across the Delmarva Peninsula. Also, we're on Delmarva's Rock Radio, the strongest signaled Ravens affiliate on the peninsula, 93.5 The Beach. Coming to you from the Ravens Room at the Blue Ox Bar and Grill, 127th Street and Coastal Highway in Ocean City. With Ravens Roost 44, give yourselves a hand. And of course, we welcome Ravens fans all across Delmarva. Ravens tickets giveaways. The next one coming up November 5th for the Tennessee Titan games. Tennessee Titan game, I should say. Also Bud Light prize packages and hotel stays as well. Coming up, we will recap the Ravens' loss to the Cincinnati Bengals, talk news and notes, recap the AFC North, and preview the upcoming game this Sunday on the road against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, it's Steeler Week. Kickoff at 8:30 at Heinz Field. Network pregame at 8 p.m. on 93.5 The Beach if you're listening on the radio. And don't forget, on TV, we air at various times all over the place on Comcast Beach TV. They do a great job of getting us in all over the place. Saturday night at 7:30 before the college game of the week on 47 ABC, and Sunday at noon also on 47 ABC. We are into week number 9 of the NFL. And the Ravens Wrap Show would not be possible without our friends at the original Green Turtle, the Blue Ox Bar and Grill, Bud Light, the Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Geico, RussellStreetReport.com, get that in a second, Ocean City Golf Club, jctickets.net, they're the provider of the tickets that we give away. 5 pairs this year that we've been giving away. Holiday Inn Express in Northside, Ocean City, right next door to us. Also Dunaway Furniture and BuyAToyota.com. Don't forget to like us, Ravens Wrap at the Blue Ox, and online at ravenswrap.com. I'm Mike Bradley from 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore, locally from Mike and Jake in the morning, 5 to 9 weekday mornings on 92.7 WGMD. To my left, that is, editor-in-chief of RussellStreetReport.com, voted Baltimore's best in Baltimore Magazine 5 times running. Tony Lombardi, welcome back.
Hey, pleasure to be here. I'm glad I don't have to say all that you have to say. Wow.
Yeah, it's a mouthful to start off, but we got to get it in. And to our left this week, our guest panelists. Last week we had JJ, was a Redskins fan. Apparently we gave him a lot of luck because the Redskins defeated the Cowboys on Monday night. We're not hoping for a similar type situation Sunday night. But joining us from Buxy Salty Dog, our Steeler analyst, Buxy, welcome back, sir.
Thank you for having me. It's always fun to come on up here.
Now,
all this purple.
Family doing well?
Family's doing great.
Excellent, excellent.
All little Steeler fans, I might add. There's one who's trying to sneak in some purple, but
wow.
Oh.
Well, we'll have to bring him on the show next time. Yeah. All right, well, let's break down the Ravens' loss to the Bengals. Before we get into that, just some notes before the game. Tight end Owen Daniels, we found out, had arthroscopic surgery to clean up his knee, and he was out not only for the game Sunday, but he's going to be out for a few weeks. Crockett Gilmore made his first start in Owen Daniels' place. Also, offensive linemen, the good news, though, Eugene Monroe and Kelechi Osemele returned to the lineup after being out a few weeks. Running back Bernard Pierce was inactive, a healthy scratch. Also out, defensive end Chris Canty, and what's becoming a normal situation, another healthy scratch, linebacker Arthur Brown. And Tony, let's get right to it. At the end of the game, there was a lot of controversy about whether it was a push-off or not with wide receiver Steve Smith. The NFL saying, Dean Blandino on NFL Network Tuesday saying, no, it was the right call. At the end of the day, I want to glaze over that because it should never have come down to that. At the end of the day, you had 10 points off of 2 turnovers. You had no points scored on a drive in the very first drive, 4th and 1. You didn't. The play was there. You didn't get points. Never should have come down to that. So I'm not even talking about that play.
No, when you get down to one play and you want to blame it on the officials, and that's the reason you lose the game, you're really not looking at the whole game. And they had an opportunity, the Ravens, when they were up 24-20, to really put that game away, and they didn't. And there was a chance, 21-20. Mm-hmm. They had the ball, they were driving a little bit, then it stalled. They had to punt it over on downs. And that's the situation in the game where you really got to take control. But then they had another opportunity with a 3rd and 10 situation. Andy Dalton from his own 20-yard line, about 3:40 to go in the game, and they throw up a Hail Mary that Terrence Brooks they looked like a little leaguer that couldn't catch a pop-up and just lost the ball. Mohamed Sanu, 53-yard reception. The game changes from that point. So they had a lot of opportunities. But back to the offensive pass interference, that particular crew calls offensive pass interference probably 3 times more than every other crew. So you would think that maybe before the game, Marvin Lewis goes up to those guys and says, hey, that's Steve Smith Sr. dude. He pushes off a lot when he's trying to make catches. So I think that was technically the right call, but usually in that situation, I'd be interested in Buxy's non-partial perspective, but usually in that situation, they let the guys play at the end of the game. But like you're right, Mike, it shouldn't come down to one call. They should have put the game away earlier, and they failed. And they've done that a lot on the road.
Yeah. Buxy, your thought on it?
Agreed with both of you. It should have never came down to that. Ravens should have won handedly, by at least 10 points. Watching that whole game, at the beginning of the game, knock them drive down the field, they don't put it in. I think that set the tone when Cincinnati stopped them to an extent. But I think overall, not just with that game, every game we're seeing so much pass interference. Yeah. And, it's just send the big receivers out and see what happens and look for the flag. It's not looking for a pass anymore, or a catch, so to speak.
Well, everything seems to be so offensively oriented. And even the play where they did it like 3 or 4 times with Andy Dalton sneak, they had Whitworth come around and help push him over the line of scrimmage. Now, they don't call that, but that's technically against the rules.
Well, and it's interesting you bring that up. Now, online at The Sun this week, Mike Preston was asked about that. They're only allowed to do that if his momentum hasn't been stopped. Apparently, as long as he still has forward momentum, the lineman can push him forward. But that used to be an illegal play. I don't like it one way or the other. I agree with you because you have a lineman coming around back like that. I don't think it should be legal, but technically it was. That's why that happened.
Yeah, I mean, the Ravens shouldn't fight it. If that's the way they're going to play it, then they should do it too.
Yeah.
When's the last time you saw 2 quarterback sneaks for touchdowns?
Yeah, very rarely.
This year, I bet you.
Right. Yeah, and with that play too, I mean, guys, at the end of the day, Steve Smith, you can't give him a reason to throw the flag. And did he put his hand out? Yes, he did. Do I think Iloka flopped a little bit? Yes. Now, some say he might have been off balance a little bit, so that was part of it. But you can't give him a reason to throw a flag. And look, if it had been the opposite way, if a defender had pushed off on Steve Smith, you don't think they would have been crying for a flag? Of course they would have been. But like we said, it shouldn't come down to that.
And if that was Matt Elam, we'd say nice flop.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, and Tony, now I know a lot of this goes back to last year, but the Ravens are 1-5 in their last 6 road divisional games. That is definitely a little bit of concern because that carries over a little bit from one year to the next. Now, that Browns win on the road, though, was obviously very huge earlier in the year, so it is just one loss, but that record, that doesn't bode well over the last season and a half.
No, I think a lot of those games, those 5 losses, probably you can say 3 or 4 of them were the result of not being able to run the football on the road. That wasn't really the case against the Bengals. They were able to run the football. I think it's more of a case, and we've seen this pattern, unfortunately, over the last year and a half, that the Ravens offense, they might struggle during the game, they get beyond those struggles and capture a lead, and then the defense gives it up. Yeah. And it's usually some long play that the secondary gives up. So there's definitely some concern there. And I wrote an article back in August about the secondary being a primary concern because you had Jimmy Smith, who really hasn't been a model picture of health. Ladarius Webb hasn't been. Dominique Franks has started 5 games in his career. You've got Asa Jackson, who hasn't stayed on the field. Shockey Brown, who I think is one of the worst cornerbacks, and Ben Roethlisberger is going to love him on Sunday night. So you look at, and that hasn't changed. Yeah. None of that's changed. They've got all these safeties that are just special teams guys. I don't really understand the composition of this roster.
I wanted to build on something, Buxy, you said very interesting. You said, I see that Ravens-Bengals game, and I think the Ravens should have won that game by 10. Now, Tony, you and I watched the game on Sunday together, and I said to you, I know it probably won't happen this way, but given our momentum and given what's happened with Cincinnati, we really should go in there, and we should win that game. I'm not saying we'll blow them out, but we should win that game somewhat decidedly by 10 or 13 points. I think the Ravens definitely had the opportunity of doing that, and I'm glad you brought that up, Buxy, because they had the chance to do it. Obviously, they didn't. You come out of that first half, it's 7-6, and you're actually feeling pretty good on the road. But Buxy, I agree with you. I think the Ravens could have come out of there winning by 10 to 13 points.
You had some turnovers, and that's what every game comes down to. Some penalties, turnovers. But I look at the Ravens, and all week I'm hearing, Steelers are going to, Roethlisberger just from last week. I don't see it. I mean, I think the Ravens are solid. They've got a tough linebackers, tough front 4. They should be stopping everyone right now.
And it's interesting you bring that up because if you look back maybe 3 weeks ago, you're probably feeling pretty bad. You lose to the Browns 31-10. that first half against the Texans, not
yeah,
looking so
turned
good.
the champ.
All of a sudden, to the rest 2 minutes of the or 3 minutes of the first half against the Texans, you score 24 points. The whole season changes. The Colts shut out the Bengals. They give up 51 points to the Steelers. The Browns beat the Steelers. They lose to the Jaguars. This NFL is crazy. When you ask me for my prediction at the end of the show, I'm going to toss a coin. I don't really. I have no idea.
You're the paid expert here, Tony. I've got to talk about. Look, Tony, you and I are definitely Flacco fans, and I think we know what kind of quarterback he is. We know their high highs and low lows, and we know what he's good at and what he's not good at. But what really got me though was both interceptions in the second half. Seventh-year guy, those can't happen. Throwing into triple coverage with Torrey Smith. And then on the other play, Torrey gets stopped. And there was a camera picture shot from behind Joe, a replay. And you could see Torrey got stopped, and he still threw the football. Now, I know the play happens a lot quicker, and maybe it was more of a timing thing. But it seemed to me that he could hold that ball, bring it down, or at least throw it away. It seemed like, okay, that was the play called. And at the risk of sounding like John Gehrig, you just kind of mind-numb robot threw the football. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's probably the most critical I've been in terms of saying something like that about Joe. But those were unacceptable interceptions, and they cost us 10 points. Yeah,
those were unacceptable. The first one particularly because he had a lot of time to throw. Could have pulled it down. He said he thought he saw a hole in the defense and tried to drill it in there, and that's when you have a big arm like that. You do those things. The second one, Torrey Smith was lit up. And I'm not sure how that's not a penalty, but they didn't call it. But
it was within 5 yards.
That aside, he threw the ball even though he saw, and you could see, as you said, from the rear view perspective, that he had impeded the progress. The progress was stopped. He had time to pull it down and look somewhere else, or just eat it. That was a 3rd and 1 situation too. Another one of the pet peeves of mine. Why don't we don't try to power up the football and just run it? We didn't, but yeah, that's a situation. He's got to be better than that. 7th-year quarterback who's supposed to be your franchise guy.
Joe Flacco combined 3 of 11 when targeting Steve and Torrey Smith Sunday, and it's just the second time this season that Flacco completed fewer than half of his attempts to those two. So a rare instance, but it happened, and that was part of the reason why we lost the game 27-24. More of the Ravens Wrap Show to come on Comcast Beach TV, ABC 47, and 93.5 The Beach. We're back next. Keep it here.
In April 1959, Art Wall won the Masters, edging out Carey Middlecoff and Arnold Palmer by finishing birdie, 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 par birdie. 1 month later, Ocean City Golf Club celebrated the opening of their first 18 holes. That course has been transformed now into one of the most scenic golf layouts on the East Coast. Come experience 36 of the most beautiful and challenging holes you'll find anywhere. Ocean City Golf Club in Ocean City, Maryland.
Like 33rd Street was to Colt fans, Russell Street will become legendary for future generations of Raven fans. Not only is Russell Street the team's address on Sunday, it's now home to the website voted Baltimore's best 5 years in a row. You've known them as Ravens247.com for years, and now you'll love them as RussellStreetReport.com for many more. There's nothing else like it for Baltimore football fans. Trust me, RussellStreetReport.com. Baltimore's home for football 24/7.
Welcome to the Comfort Inn Gold Coast. Conveniently located just 1 block from the beach and adjacent to shopping at the Gold Coast Mall and the movie theater. Newly renovated and open year-round with a marvelous bayfront view. Visit us on the web at comfortgoldcoast.com and see our hot deals and great golf packages, or simply call our direct reservation line to plan your stay.